Guys, Amy here with Hale Company, and in this video tutorial I'm showing you guys how to use our 3D arch front door ornament digital mock-up. So let's get started. Okay, a little disclaimer here. This digital mock-up was created with Photoshop. We love Photoshop. We know Photoshop. Therefore, we are only going to support Photoshop. Now, you could probably use this digital mock-up in other software, another software such as Affinity Designer. Again, however, you'll be on your own with that, as we will only support it in Photoshop. Okay, so one of the first things you're going to need to do is, after you downloaded the templates and downloaded the patterns, you're going to need to import the patterns into Photoshop. If you don't have your patterns screen open like that, then just go to Window up at the top and click on Patterns. Mine sets it over here. And what you'll want to do is come over here to these three dots. Hopefully you can see those, and you're going to click on that and you're going to do import patterns. So I have a metal pattern and the wall texture pattern. I'm just going to hold my shift key. I am using Windows, and click on them both to highlight them both, and then click the load button. All right, so now you have your textures, okay? So that is how easy it is to import the pattern fills. All right, let's go ahead and dig in. So over here is where all the layers are. We have a logo layer, which you can add your own logo there. So if I double click in that, which is a smart object, and you can delete this layer and add your own, whatever you want to do, this can be removed. These are the ribbons. I have them linked because there's a front ribbon and the back ribbon. The back ribbons are down here with the Christmas background. So you may need to move the ribbons around, but you shouldn't have to. But if you do need to, there is a left front ribbon, which is over here, and it's linked to the left back ribbon over here, so that when you move one, it moves them both, okay? So let's start with the closed door. All right, so this is on this side, it's the closed door. So we have a doorknob, and this was a smart object, so we're just going to double click on that, and here's what the doorknob looks like. So we want to give it some texture. You may not want to start with the doorknob first. The reason why it's at the top of the layers is because it's got to sit at the front. So let's start with something else for now. Let's try to recreate one of these over here. So we will try to recreate this one over here. I did this one in my other video, which is for the digital template. All right, so this is going to be the outer door frame. So we want to start with that. We're going to double click the smart object, and we have the inner arch right there, as you can see, and we have it as the blending option set to linear light. So I'm going to go ahead and give it this look. Now, when I click on this pattern fill, it looks too big, so I don't like the way it looks. So double click on that, and you can scale it down to whatever you want to scale it to, and I think that kind of looks good. Let's maybe go with a 25. Oops, not a 258, a 25. Let's even try 30 and see how that looks. Okay, I kind of like that, and I like the way this looks, so I'm going to leave that all. You're going to click this safe layer, and hit X, and you're going to save changes so that it updates it. Now, what I like about this is it automatically updated it on this side as well, because it's going to be the same. It's just this one has the door open. All right. So on this one, now we want to do this door frame, which is going to be the inner door frame. So I'm going to double click on that. And everything that you see that says do not edit and it's locked, those are the shadows that we created to kind of give it the realistic effect. You don't want to edit this, and if you delete it, then you're taking away your realistic effect. So we kind of locked it. If it's on top, we put it on top for a reason, because it shows better. As you can see, if I drag this layer and bring it up top, then it takes away that deep bottom shadow. So I'm going to bring it back down here, and we are going to give this a pattern as well. So what pattern do I have? So that's that one. Okay. We're going to give it this pattern. All right. And same thing, we're going to change the scaling, and we're going to go with 30 and see how that looks. I kind of like that. We're going to leave that like that, and we're going to save changes. All right, so that's looking good. Again, you can see it changed it from there to there, so you don't, it's not double the work. Okay, so let's move on to the door. I'm going to double click on the door smart object, which brings up the door. And as you can see, you've got 3 layers in here. You've got your inner door panel, your door front, and the shadows that say do not edit. We need to add our pattern to this, and let's see, we're going with that wood. Okay, so, all right, so we're gonna add this wood to it, and we're gonna need to scale it down and get it to where it looks good. All right, let's try 30%, maybe 28, 26, maybe 25. Ooh, sorry, I'm just trying to get it just right. 23. All right, so I like 23. I'm gonna leave it at that. And then for the inner door panel, you have FX layer styles applied to it. They're turned off at the moment, but if I click on the eye next to effects, it brings it up. Let's see. I use black, so we're going to maybe do it as a stroke. So I used a pattern on this, so we're going to use, you can make it a pattern or just make it black. Let's just see what happens if we make it black. So I'm gonna do color overlay, turn off the pattern, change the color overlay to black by double clicking, and there we go, much better. And then we'll do the same thing for the stroke, make sure it's black. Yeah, color, and make sure it's black. Okay. So I like the way that looks much better. We're gonna close and save changes. And this is starting to give you a visual of what it really looks like. Now I'm gonna go ahead and move on over to this door over here because we want it to match this door because it's just the inside of it. So I'm gonna double click on it, and I'm going to apply another pattern fill. I'm gonna give it 23%, and I'm just gonna close and save changes. All right, so we're looking pretty good. The door message, we're gonna double click on that, and I'm going to choose one of these. So let's just do this one. I'm gonna go ahead and turn on the border text. Okay. And we're gonna close and save changes. And where is our text? Okay, so here's where you'll want to add some text. I don't have the text in here, so you'll need to add some. But if I wanted to add the text, you can just double click in here. And if you bought our digital template, you can add it from that. Or you can write your own. So I'm just going to write some text that says Merry Christmas. And then I'll duplicate the text and add, and then I'm going to duplicate this text one more time, and I'm going to add the year. All right, that's it. It's that easy just to add text, or you can add little graphics in here, whatever you want. And you can turn off the text box if you want it. It should be called text box. I will add probably the quote in here just to give you guys something to start with. I just need to get it in. All right, so I'm going to close on that. And last piece we have to do, other than, okay, so we've got the doorknob we need to do, so I'm going to double click and open that up. And I'm going to add, let's see, I'm going to do this dark bronze and see how that looks. And we're going to go 15 with that and see how it looks. Okay, so that matches a little too close to the door. So I'm going to make it a lighter color, and I think that'll work. All right. And that looks good, but it kind of matches the door. Let's just check out one more and see how it looks. And that kind of looks good. Okay. So we'll go with that one. And then over here are your hinges. So you're going to double click that smart object, open up the hinges. Same thing. We want to give it this color. All you did was just click on it and it adds to it. And the door hinges are done. Now, this is the back. This is the door lock, the doorknob. So you got to make that make that match as well. So we got to double click on that, and we're just going to click on that. Oops. Okay. And all right. And you got the hinges on this side as well that got to be changed. So I'm going to double click that to open the smart object, add the color to the hinges, scale it down to 25, and save changes. And there you go. That's how good it looks. Okay, so the last one we have to do is the reef, and I'm going to go ahead and double click on that to open the smart object. We created 2 reefs for you guys. These are such small pieces that there's not going to be a lot of editing to do to them. So you're more than welcome to create your own reefs, but here are some simple basic ones. The first one is just a regular cartoonish looking reef with some lights on it. The second one, which is my favorite, is a more realistic wreath, which has a real bow and real stuff, and the real pine on here. Sorry. And you could add some like little ornaments and stuff to it if you want to. Okay, so I'm just going to leave this as is. I'm going to close and save changes. And then there you go. There is your realistic mock-up that you can display to your customers. Just save the images, you know, and play around and change your textures around. I'm going to go to this outer door frame and say, well, what if I want it to be in this brick? I'm going to go ahead and save that and see how that looks. And look at how good that looks. Now you might want to change the inner arch outline. So we got to double click on that, and we can change that color maybe to a white or a light gray and see how it goes. Much better. So there you go. And you can, this is how I designed all the designs that I already came up with, because I use this mock-up to kind of get a feel for how the different textures look. So if I wanted to change this front door, let's maybe make it a red door. Oops. So right here, and maybe this one. We want to definitely change the scale's already down. So let's change it to 15 and see how that looks. Okay, let's go 10. All right, let's go 8, 5. No, we're going too much. All right, let's do with 10. I like the way 10 looks on that. And again, it may not look good with the other colors, but now you can see what it looks like. All right. So you can change that. If you wanted to change it to the herringbone right here, you could try that out, and you could change the stroke to maybe a white, color overlay to a white, and see how that looks. And then if you want to change the blending options, you can do that as well. Let's see how that looks. So lots of options, and if you already have your own patterns loaded, you can play around with your own patterns and not just with ours with this. So it's great. So if you have some digital paper in there, like I have foils, if I wanted to make this a glittery, oops. If I wanted to make this, make sure you always click on the fill before you change it. If I wanted to make this a glittery fill, I can. And as you can see, it's starting to repeat the pattern. So we got to go down to probably 50 if I had to guess. No, 40. No, let's go with 30. 25. Okay. If you wanted to give it some glitter, there you go. Okay guys, that's how easy it is to work with this digital mock-up. I hope you enjoyed the video. The links will be listed below in the description on where to buy the blanks and the digital template. Thanks for watching.